last time to get a Reese's? Boo. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I hope everyone is doing amazing, fine, whatever. Uh, I'm doing alright. How's it going? Okay. This is day 6 of my rigging deep dive. I've spent a lot of time watching a lot of videos. Sometimes I follow along, sometimes I just watch since it's kind of difficult to follow along on certain, I guess, tutorials. Some of them aren't even tutorials, they're just going over, I guess, sort of what rigging is, especially towards the beginning. Um, and so yeah, um, we'll do some more video watching today. But most likely in the next like couple of days maybe, I'll be, I guess, sort of hunkering down and focusing more on rigging Regulus. Because the whole point of the whole rigging deep dive not only was to find, I guess, a sort of um, workflow that I liked. It was also to make sure that Regulus got rigged in a way that sort of there's no issues when it comes to like any sort of clipping. For the most part, obviously, not everything can be perfect. Some things can be edited once the pose is set. But yeah, I just wanted to do as much as I can. Uh, so yeah. So by the end of the day, like I said, my goal is to have her rendered out in the living room that I made and have it look all nice and nice. Uh, we'll see how long that takes. Yesterday, I forgot what we did yesterday. What was the last? I think the last thing we watched was Royal Skies. His channel. He does, like I said before. I feel like I mentioned this 100 times already, but he has a playlist going over rigging stuff. Not Rigify, but like rig stuff using drivers, which seems really interesting. I said before that maybe not now, but maybe in the future I might make a rig following his tutorials, since I assume most of them are going to kind of build off each other in a way. At least I'd hope so. Um, so I might do that. Might not. It kind of depends. Like I said again yesterday, was at the moment I'm sort of leaning towards the Rigify stuff, mostly because it does solve a lot of the issues that I guess like regular rigging has in terms of like I guess control. Rigify provides a lot of controllers um to the rig. However, obviously you could also manually add controllers to the regular rig, but it obviously is a lot easier with Rigify. But like I said, or sorry, what I meant to say, what I was getting at was, it'd be good to make a Rigify rig that works for my characters. Not only that, um, I can't forget that I also need to have a rig for if I want to sort of move my characters to like Unity, make them into VR chat slash VTubing models. Um, so yeah. There's still a lot to do. We're still, I guess, kind of in the phase of learning. And sooner, probably starting tomorrow, maybe, I might start actually sort of implementing some stuff, like making a Rigify rig for, um, Regulus and stuff like that. But yeah, um, what else do I have in mind? Oh, I guess I could pull up some stuff. Hold on. What is this link to? Oh, no, not that. I'll probably be taking off the sort of Christmassy stuff on the bottom left. Maybe even tomorrow, honestly, just because obviously it's not Christmas anymore, so having it there kind of doesn't make any sense. Um, uh, at some point, like I said, it's kind of funny how I ended up not really. It wasn't my intention, but I ended up with a kind of a starting screen, thanks to all the stuff that I made for the Christmas season, which is very nice. That might stay for a while since like I said, it came randomly, and so I have no plans of like replacing it or like changing it. So I'm not exactly sure. At some point, I will have to sort of either make a new one or stop using it entirely because, you know, it's Christmas is slowly getting farther and farther away from when it was. So it doesn't make sense to have it there. Um, so yeah, before I started stream today, um, I did like very light, 30-minute maybe, about view on the new Motion Clubhouse Studio, whatever they call themselves. Um, update. They had an update like a couple days ago, where they added you the ability to add VTubing models into the um I don't know, into the world that is Motion Studio. Um, I didn't actually watch this video. I didn't have my headphones on while I was watching it. I was just kind of like looking at it to see like what he was doing exactly. But this is the video on how to get it done because I did open up the I guess like game. It is on Steam application, whatever. To try to add one of my characters that I think I have um turned into a VRM, but apparently not. I mean, apparently I couldn't get it to work. Um, but I did join their Discord, and is one of the videos that they linked when it came to, I guess, sort of making sure how to do it. I think you have to actually go into Unity and specifically set it up so that it has um, Motion Studio stuff, which would mean that I had to get the SDK as well, which is another thing that I haven't done at all. Um, we had a good discussion, I think, last night. Um, going over um, going over the channel, going over some questions, and some ideas that I've been having. Um, interactivity. What do I want with that? Um, and stuff like that. Yeah, like what kind of thing am I going for? What's the purpose? What's the goal? And I feel like I still need to give that stuff a lot of thought. We also talked about VTubing stuff and all that and how, yeah, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't really call myself a VTuber. That's not my goal in the end, but having an avatar wouldn't be a bad idea, sort of as a face. Although I do like the idea of having sort of theme centered around my avatar, mostly because it just makes it easier for me to sort of decorate slash theme my channel slash stream around. You know, it's very hard to sort of be like, look at me, I'm the art person. Everyone's the art person because everyone does art in, not everyone, sorry, like a bunch of people do art on Twitch. So following a theme wouldn't be a bad idea to help me, I guess, stand out from the crowd. I also went briefly over what's next after rigging. Obviously, there's still, I think, maybe like 2 to 3 more days of the rigging deep dive. It kind of depends. I think we're running out of videos to watch, so that side of, I guess, the sort of rigging deep dive is coming to a close. But obviously, like I said, Rigify stuff, actually doing what I watched wouldn't be a bad idea. But anyway, like I said, um, what's going to happen next? I talked about it a bit. Uh, my sort of, I guess, goal or sort of mindset is that once this rigging deep dive is done, I'm going to make like a couple models. I'm not sure if those models are going to be like OCs, original characters, characters that I've thought of, or if they're going to be uh, some other like character from a media, whatever. Um, However, I do want to make some new characters combining, I guess, the rigging stuff that I've learned. Um, and just like getting back into character making because, you know, you could only stop for so long before, I guess, I always have a big fear of forgetting things that I've learned. Um, or like things not looking right or looking the same as I did them before. So, um, yeah, getting back into it, doing a couple more characters. I did discuss yesterday potentially making all my characters, especially the characters that I make that aren't mine, like that I don't own, um, posting them on somewhere. I don't know where exactly, as like downloadable. Um, Maybe not the Blender file being downloadable, but if I do decide to sort of make them into like VR chat, VR VTubing kind of things, like setting them up so that they work, I should post those, give them out for free to anyone who wishes to use them. Um, I think that mostly before VTubing, the issue with VR chat is that you do have to kind of like plan ahead, due to the fact that the model like kind of has to be below 70 trigs, 70k trigs. Um, I know you don't have to follow that to the T because I mean I've seen screenshots of some of the fucking models that people have uploaded into VR chat. Some of them are insane when it comes to trig count, insane when it comes to material count. One model had like over 300 materials. What the fuck are you doing? I think I only used like one or two at max with a lot of the characters that I've uploaded into Unity. Um, so yeah, crazy. It must be like they must be like importing it from like some other 3D software. And I know there's like some 3D softwares out there that allow you to sort of make a VTubing model straight from the application. It's made for that, and I'm pretty sure they might not be the best optimized thing ever. But yeah, which is why, yeah, sorry, I was just going over. I feel like I tangent a lot, but the whole idea is that I should upload some things that I've made just so that people can grab them, and I feel like that people like that kind of stuff. Um, and it's most likely going to be just VTubing stuff and not VR chat stuff. Unless every model that I make going forward, I sort of like have it in my mind that hey, this model has to be under 70k trigs, just for like the purpose of uploading it to VR chat. Um, I could do that. That wouldn't be a bad way to, I guess, go at life, because then it would force me, I guess, to sort of be very sparing of my trig count, and would kind of force me to utilize normal maps, which I tend to not really use that much because I tend to just be very, I guess, not that wasteful when it comes to my trig count. Um, but yeah. What else did we talk about? But yeah, interactivity with Twitch's API. Um, there's still a lot of things I have to sort of think about. Still a lot of things I need to look up on my own. Um, I should definitely force myself a lot. I think towards the beginning of me streaming, I used to force myself a lot to sort of figure out ways to improve uh my, I guess, stream in a way, learn new things off stream so that I could bring them into stream or do things off stream. Um, I guess I was a little burnt out after the Christmas season. When it came to like doing things off stream, working on Blender off stream, and then coming back on stream to do more Blender. Um, but I definitely should force myself to doing that again. Um, so yeah, so I could advance, you know? Uh, it doesn't help much if I just go, I need to do this on stream, and then off stream I don't actually do anything. Um, that's really bad on my part. So I'll try to force myself in the coming week or so, moving forward, to sort of get back into the groove of trying to better the stream experience. Um, what else did I want to say? Something along those lines. Oh yeah, Twitch interactivity we were talking about. What exactly I'm looking for exactly. Um, it's a very broad sort of thing, and if I don't know exactly what I want, then I'm not really gonna be able to find what I'm looking for. So I have to, again, that kind of goes into me having to spend more time outside of stream thinking about this kind of stuff. But I will do it, don't you worry. I'll remember now. Valentine's Day is coming up, which is actually a good, I guess, excuse to force me to do stuff off stream. Um, I say coming up, it's like a bit away, but I think it's really good to sort of prepare um ahead of time, just so that the stuff that I make is a lot better. Um, maybe be a bit more elaborate with the stuff I make. I say that now. I don't know if I'll be able to do anything that elaborate, but I do want to try some things. I have nothing really in mind, but I'll spend some time off stream, lol. Trying to think of, I guess, sort of custom ideas slash things that I could add to the stream when Valentine's Day comes around. I'll probably like extend it out to be like a week of Valentine's Day, cause I'm not gonna work on something and then put it up for a day and then take it away the next day. Obviously I could use it next year. But yeah. What else do I have to ramble about? 30 minutes of rambling? Let's make it an hour. Um, um, Palworld, the Pokemon with guns. Um, you know what? I talk about how I don't spend a lot of time looking at stuff related to stream off stream. I don't look at stuff related to gaming off stream either. Um, I've seen some streams, some people talking about it. People think it's really good. It's People really enjoy it. I still don't know if I'm gonna get it. Part of me wants to, but at the same time, it's kind of like Do I really need it? Question mark. Do I really care all that much? Maybe. It seems interesting. It seems, I believe there's a bit of like survival elements to it, a bit of crafting and stuff like that, and that kind of like piques my interest a little bit. I think there's a bit of base defense as well, even though I think I've heard that it's not the hardest. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what to do with that. Um, some other prospects, I guess. I forgot to mention that like literally 5 days ago, the Binding of Isaac multiplayer beta went offline again and probably will be online next month. I'm still hoping, I'm still praying that they add a uh, like an ability to host servers and invite with codes for streamers. Because if they don't add that, that'd be kind of like a letdown for me at least. That'd be a huge letdown. I haven't actually like I'm pretty sure people have suggested it, which is why I haven't suggested it, but I might actually have to just in case, just so like they know. At least I know that my feedback was submitted, and if it doesn't come in, then it's not my fault for not talking about it to them. I don't want to say it's their fault, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I think by I don't yeah. So like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna get Pal World. Um, I think maybe by the end of today, not like not that I'm gonna play it today, but by the end of today, like the entire day, not just stream day. I might figure out whether or not I'm gonna get it or not. So you'll probably know by tomorrow. um, if I play tomorrow, then obviously I got it. But if I don't, then I probably didn't get it, and that might change. I don't know. Again, I'm very unsure right now on whether or not I should get it. So I have, like I said, I have time. I'm not gonna worry about it. Anyway, I think I've done enough rambling. I probably will ramble some more. Um, Mostly because I'm kind of in the mood to sort of ramble. Um, but I think we should move forward with today's, I guess, itinerary, stuff like that. Okay. So I do want to watch this video. Like I said, whoops, I didn't watch it. I put it on and let it play while uh, I didn't have my headphones on, so I didn't actually hear whatever this guy was talking about in terms of uploading your models into Motion Studio. Um, I should definitely take some time to look at like the Motion Studio SDK videos. There's a bunch of videos on the channel that I should 100% look at. And even then, I have it saved here. I have their SDK documentation and their channel and the GitHub to get the SDK literally opened up already. It's just like I said, I've been struggling recently with forcing myself to uh take the time off the day before I start streaming to look at it. So I want to watch this. It's literally 5 minutes. So it's not gonna take that long. If I'm being honest. I could watch this. I probably won't follow along because again, I don't have a weapon, and I just kind of want to see how he does it. Um, that's basically it. I just want to see how he does it. That's about it. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay. Apart from that, we have this one here, which is white painting and editing to remove clipping on your models. We'll watch that. We'll watch how to rig everything. Rig hair, chest, clothing, etc. Um, we could watch this one too. a 2-minute video going over how this guy rigs his skirts. We watched a couple of 3 videos actually about how someone else rigs theirs, and not only skirts but other objects can be rigged the same way as well. So yeah. And then I think I said I was gonna move these 2 videos into like a separate category that that talks about animation. Let me make that right now. Wait, hold on. I'll make it after rigging since I think that's like the logical step, right? Oh wait, maybe after weight painting actually. Or maybe after shape keys. Because shape keys I guess are a form of, they could be used for animation as well. Whoops. Oh wait, hold on. I need to compose library. Alright. So yeah, in theory, I only have like 4 videos to watch. I could watch a video on BlendRig, but I could. I don't know. Kind of depends. I'm probably not gonna follow along most of these videos. I'm just basically gonna be watching how they do things. So I probably won't take that long today when it comes to like video watching that I usually take in these last few days, especially since I've been following along. That usually takes me up a long time. So once we get done with like these 4 videos and I still have nothing else to watch, then I might watch some videos specifically related to the BlendRig add-on just to see what's going on about it. What's so good about it. Um oh yeah, I also want to watch this. We could watch this first since it's kind of like not really about rigging. We could get it over with and sort of move on. But yeah, we'll see how far we get with these videos. We'll see how I'm feeling after these videos, and if I'm feeling good, then I might do some Regulus rigging, or I might just like, I don't know. I'm not really expecting a sort of solid schedule today, just because I am feeling a bit tired. Oh god, nothing changes apparently. So we'll see. Anyway, enough. Again, I've been rambling too much. This is bad, I think. Let's I'm gonna put on my headphones now and start watching these damn videos. Ooh, okay, let's begin.
Okay, hello everybody, what's up? This is the motion tutorial on how to import a VRM and a VSF model into your motion environment. So let's get cracking. First thing what you want to do is make sure that you are in a fresh, newly created scene. In your motion SDK tools, you'll have an option. I'm just going to put it over here. You'll have an option to create avatar scene, and then you'll be left with this. Don't worry about this person, they're just for reference. You can just, move it out of the way if you want, if that helps. And then you'll be in here. All right. So what you'll want to do is make sure to grab your VRM. I got a messy thing here. Grab your VRM that you want. I'm gonna use mine as an example. I'm gonna drop it in the scene, right? But what you want to do is you want to make sure that your VRM is a child of motion avatar. Okay. Once it's a child of motion avatar, your model is now part of it. Okay, now that our VRM is a child of motion avatar, over on the right in the inspector, just go to the bottom, go to add component, and add motion avatar ragdoll script. This will allow you to do all the ragdoll features that are in motion.
I got
So
motion.
what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make your bones fall into these categories, like your root bone and whatnot. So you want to make your armature, your root, and so on, right? So everybody's models are, set up differently than each other. So follow the steps, your hips, your spine, your chest. In my particular instance, it'd be like spine 1, spine 2, spine 3. My head bone, left upper leg, it's how you have your bones set up. So put them all in here the way that you want them to be set up, and this is going to help with the ragdoll. You can leave the weight to 75. That's okay too. Okay, now that you have done that, you have added the ragdoll if you wanted to. Just over on the right, motion avatar descriptor, name it what you want it to be. I'm just going to put duper, VRM. And then you can add a description, whatever you want. You can add blah, blah, blah if you want to. That works too. And then you just want to hit build scene. Okay, now that we are in motion, your clubhouse is going to look a little different from mine, but this is my clubhouse. We're going to,
Gonna be
the very top, you'll
ads.
see an option called add avatar.
Your clubhouse is
Just
gonna
so
suck,
you
not
know,
like
when
mine.
you export your model from Unity, when you export your VRM model from Unity, motion must be closed and then reopen, okay? Now, add avatar. I have a bunch here, don't worry. And we have our duper VRM, which is right here. I'm gonna add that to the scene. And here it is. Now, if you want the tracking to be set up for your model, see I'm just idling right there, you need to go to your category for your avatar, right here. I have another one, but that one's invisible. And turn on enable VMC. See? And now that it is tracking my model, you must understand that the tracking isn't in motion. You must have something that is sending VMC protocol. I'm using VC Face. It is free for everybody. You can add VC Face. All you need to do is just settings general, and you'll have an option scrolling down, send data with a nice little port number. Copy that port number and just drop it over here on the right, right there. Bam. And then you'll have tracking. You can have as many models as you want, which is one of the features, which is really cool. So once you unselect, I have that set up for something else. Don't worry about that. But you can have multiple models in here tracking from the same port, and yeah, you can have them placed all over the place. Now, that is for VRM. Are you ready for VSF?
I don't know what
I don't know
VSF
if
is.
you're ready. Okay, to add a VSF model, all you need to do is go to avatar on the top and click on your VSF model, which is actually this one. You'll need to import your VSF model. Sorry. Once you have imported your VSF model, it'll pop up as an option, add it, and that's it. No Unity required. VSF already works. Already works. And done. And that is really it. So now that you have added your model, VRM, VSF wise, you can place them wherever you want. Play around with the ragdoll physics to your heart's content. You can have on collision. You can have it set to always on. If you have it as always on, it is going to stop. Oh. Yeah, if you have it as always on, it's gonna stop tracking. It's gonna stop tracking you, and it's just gonna be a ragdoll on the floor. Just have fun with it, and yeah, that is how you set up your models. If you have any other questions, join the Discord. They'll help you out. This just released, so they're going to be there's gonna be bugs. You're gonna encounter bugs. If you encounter bugs, let the dev team know, and they will help you out. But thank you for watching, and that is.
Yeah. I don't know what VSF means. I think it might be related to what I talked about before. With the applications that are specifically made for model making, not like Blender. I mean like I mean like there's a lot of prefabs already in and stuff like that. You know what I mean. Anyway, it might be that. I could always look it up, but it doesn't really matter to me right now. So yeah, that was pretty simple. I just had to set it up in Unity apparently, which is why probably the reason why it wasn't working, because I didn't have it set up. I might try it out some other day, maybe not, just because I have to open up Unity again, and god damn it, that's a hassle. At least to me it is. Anyway, that was good. I'll probably watch this one last, just because it's like something that I don't plan on using anytime soon. But it still piques my interest enough that I want to watch it to see like how he did it. Let's start watching this video.
Good day. So today I thought I would share some tips on how to remove clipping and I guess the weight painting issues on your model if you have set up a new cloth or similar. So on this model I just put on this uniform thing, and we have some clipping issues here, back here, and also on it's pretty usual that you get issues on the chest. If you turn this, you see it start clipping when you turn it too much. So we're gonna solve those today. First, we do the easy one, this clipping here. So what you do here is you select the mesh, you go to edit mode, and then we want to, I guess, sculpt it or proportional editing. I like to use proportional editing. So we select some vertice that's behind the mesh here. So I select some vertice here. I just click here and it will select something. Here we have that vertice. And then you just do G, you do the proportional editing tool up here, and then G, you have to scroll, and then you can just move it out until it doesn't clip anymore. Same on the other side, we click somewhere in here and select some vertice that we can see, and then drag it out. Like that, kind of.
Okay.
Back here, select something in the middle here.
That's self-explanatory.
Pull it out. And that's it for the mesh. Very, very easy to do. Now, if we move this bone here, it will start clip. So if we do it, we move a bit here, then it starts clip on the side. I think we have yeah, it will clip. So the way to fix this, the easy way, is you move it to some pose that when it starts clipping, and then you keep it at that and go back to big mode. And then you select your mesh, and then you do weight painting. So now we're gonna do weight painting here. So these bones are named left boob and right boob for the for the bones here. We can actually select this mesh symmetry thing. It usually works. So if we paint on this one, it's gonna apply to the other side as well, which is really nice. So what we want to do here is we want to add some weight paint here, and you can see that it maybe lower the strength a bit. You can see that it starts getting better, but at a certain point it won't get any better, and that's because it's affected by another vertex group. So in this case it's the chest. So you can see the chest vertex group is going in here. So what we have to do here is actually remove this vertex, or we have to remove it, the paint, and then it will look nicer, kind of like that. Maybe down here is a bit, yeah, like that, and then it disappears. So if we go back now and move this, you can see that it doesn't clip anymore, or not as much at least. Maybe it clips up. No, clipping up, a bit of clipping down. But yeah, you can solve this by doing the same thing, that you go to weight paint, And then we try to do the same thing. First we remove some chest paint here. Now this might be difficult because these bands here, a bit annoying. Then the right one, we draw more. Oh shit! Yeah, it will. It will get pretty bad. We can probably try to fix this in a little bit.
I just thought of like, you imagine if someone's doing a tutorial and midway the tutorial they were like, ah shit, I fucked it, and then it cuts to them like the model fixed. Like, okay guys, I figured it out. There's like a timer, you could clearly see like 5 hours passed since the time they cut it until now. So dumb.
But yeah, you get the point. You get the point. You can like do some fiddling, adding, removing paint until it doesn't clip anymore. And then when you pose it, it should work better. So yeah, now this is solved. And the other side, because we had the symmetry when I did the weight painting. When I did the weight painting here, I had this little X up here checked. So it should have been applied to the other side as well. So we can just try and post this. And maybe was it? No, it didn't work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, if it's not symmetrical,
I have to
it doesn't
repeat the
work.
same steps on this side as well. Do the weight painting. So move to this position, weight paint until it gets away. Yeah, it's the same process as the other side. Now we can also do like, you can do this on any part actually. You can do. I think there was maybe not. I think there was like a shoulder issue, but maybe it wasn't. Anyway. So one last thing I want to try is to attach this net socks thing was added with this cloth, but they obviously don't fit on my character. It's made for, I think it's made for Maya, this cloth, and my character is not Maya. But I think we can try to fix this. We do edit mode, try to move it in a good spot here. Actually, we're gonna do like this. We're gonna remove one side, only work on the other side. So I'm gonna work up from top to bottom. So we select the circle here, alt-click to select a ring. Actually, this is pretty annoying. Okay, whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna try to put this on in a good way. Oh, it doesn't.
I'm still thinking about that. Can you imagine if it went up 4 times speed, 8 times speed, 6 times speed? It's like, what? Why is it going faster?
Okay, it doesn't look very good, but you get the point. Now the second issue is when we move this, we'll see if it actually moves at all. No, it doesn't, of course. It's because the name of the vertex groups are wrong.
I'm just chilling.
Okay, there we go. Now it should work. And it does. So the process here is the same. We move it to some weird position where it starts clipping. And then we have to weight paint, which is very fun. We love to do this. Yeah, so I guess we have to erase some on this side. Let's see. 0. The strength 1 on this. Kinda like this. Yeah, this is probably not very good, but you get the point. Then yeah, you can't move your leg forward like that. But yeah, you get the point. Now it looks fairly good. It's a bit more issues, but you get the point. I think this one is pretty good. But yeah, there is some quick example on how to, I guess, put on clothes, do some weight painting, remove clipping, and get it to look good in a fairly easy way. But yeah, I hope this video helped, and hope to see you some other time. Bye bye.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right. That video boiled down to, hey, if your model is clipping in the rest position, maybe move the clothing so it's not clipping. And then if it's clipping when it moves, add and subtract weights to the bone and surrounding bones so that it doesn't clip. For that reason, that it's simply just don't make it clip when it's in rest position, lol, dumbass. And fix the weight paints. I'm not gonna save this video. But yeah, I think this video is a bit too. I'm a bit farther, I guess. My understanding of how clipping works is a bit more. I guess it'd be good for someone who's still learning about it. All right, let's watch this one. 18 minutes.
So you've got your anime girl fully modeled, but now you need to rig it, including all the weird stuff like the jiggly, dangly bits, stuff like hair, chains, etc. Well, look no further. In this video, I'll outline my quick and simple full rigging process that's jam-packed with all of that extra stuff. As always, the description will have all the timestamps and links you need in case you want to skip over some things that you don't need. So to begin, let's start with the hair. If you've used the curve method to create hair, which I have a video on, you might have some clipping with your hair, and usually that's not a problem. There are some cases where auto weighting breaks because of the clipping, but regardless, some have asked how to make it neater. So I'm going to show you a quick way to take all of those hair strands and combine them into one mesh so that there's no clipping. I select a vertice from each of these front bang strands and press Ctrl L to select all the relevant vertices and then right click and separate them. Not all hair needs to be rigged. There are static and moving parts, and the bangs usually move, so let's separate them into their separate object for now. There's also a lot of clipping going on, which we can fix. I'm going to press F to complete these faces, hide that, and then do the same for the rest. Alt left click and F to quickly fill in those ends. We're going to do a very quick and lazy retopology by heading over to sculpt mode, remesh, press remesh. Voxel size doesn't matter as long as it maintains its shape. Now that's a lot of vertices. We can fix this by adding a decimate modifier and turning down the ratio as low as we want. Look at that face count go all the way down. Let's apply that. And these bangs are now a little more optimized because there are no more inside vertices, so we've actually saved a few vertices as well. And of course, this is just one way to do it. You can always manually retopology it with a snapping mode for a neater and more controlled finish. but this is definitely one of the fastest ways. We can even go to mesh tools, tries to quads, and guess what that does? It turns the tries into quads. In the grand scheme of things, this doesn't really matter, but it's there if you want to do it. Let's also grab another part of the hair to have movement, for example, these side hairs. These are also created by the curve method, which I've showed in my hair video. And they do clip together, but not really too horrible, so we don't have to remesh the entire thing. We can just deal with these. Drag them away from each other with mirroring on. Alt left click their end edge loops, and then just find the bridge edge loops so that we can join them together. It's a little more organized. Okay, let's move on to the armature stuff. I'll auto rig the body first, then transfer that onto the clothing later. Over and up.
That is something I do. I wonder if I got it from this video, or if I figured it out on my own. I don't remember. I feel like I have definitely seen this video pop on my For You page just because it goes over rigging, and it's everything, so it's very appealing to the eyes. But I do this too. I think it's better to do it this way. I did it with Regulus, and then I fucked it up by deleting a part of her body before I finished rigging all the clothing. Alright, let's continue. Sorry.
Object mode, I'm just going to Shift A and add an armature, the human meta rig one. Scale that up and make sure it's rotated in the correct direction. Tab over to edit mode with the rig selected. I delete the face bones because I don't usually rig the face to bones. I use shape keys, which I discussed in my last video. So over there, I just extrude one bone from my head outside of the neck. Just making sure everything is centered. And this part is straightforward. We just try to get the rig matching up to the body as best as we can. Not gonna be really using those bones either. But everything else, let's just put into place. These breastbones, I'll push them forward a bit to match the shape of the breast more. Fingers may be the most tedious part. Just make sure that you always look at them from multiple angles so that you can ensure that those little bones are all in there where they're supposed to be. So just checking in on this from multiple angles, from the top, align them. Then from the side as well, because they will be curved. I don't know if your hand models will be curved, mine are straight, so I have to adjust those. Let's match up those three segments as best as we can. Let's also look at it diagonally to ensure that it's really in there. And once everything's aligned, we can go over to object mode, left click the body object, then control left click the rig object. And simply right click and bring up the parent menu with automatic weights. The body mesh will now be a child of the meta rig. And if you tab the rig over in pose mode, you've got your basic rigging. For the most part, auto rigging is not horrible, but it is a great idea to learn how to tweak the weight paint. So let's left click the rig, control plus left click the body, tab over to weight paint mode where you can control plus left click these bones to see what they have dominion over. Using the brush, let's just cover all of these toes with that end foot bone. And here over on the breasts, I like to tweak this because I don't want the breast covering all of that area. I just want the breastbones to cover just the breasts. So I change the brush to subtract, remove everything, and then change it back to add and fill in those breasts. You can change the brush to add or subtract on the brush drop down next to strength. Using mirroring always gets weird here for me, so I just manually do both. I'll just have to make sure that once everything is filled in, I refine it at the end, change back to my subtract brush, and take out all of those edges. Mainly what's important is that they don't spill over to the other side. Secret sauce time. I change it to a 0.7 strength subtract brush and I just go over it like that. This will dampen the jiggle, which trust me, you will need unless you're making like H content. Next up on weight paint, I want to control click over to the neck bone. I want the neck to have no influence over what happens on the head. So full strength subtract brush, just go over the entire head. Otherwise, when your character's neck turns, it will deform the head, which we don't want. And logically, when we control click over to the head bone, we want to make sure everything in the head is fully red. These external eyepieces usually don't get caught by the auto rig, so you definitely have to fill those in. And make sure you go inside as well. Weight paint in that entire mouth box, including teeth, including tongue. This practice model doesn't have teeth and tongue. Back over to the neck bone, just make sure that it controls none of the interior head stuff as well. Now here I have my non-moving hair mesh parts. Pair them to the rig just like the body mesh. Automatic or not, doesn't matter, just make sure it's fully red and attached to the head bone. Troubleshooting time. I select all the bones and move them around to see that there are
Right.
some vertices that don't move around because they're not painted. This happened when we were adjusting the breast weight paint. I'll go over the suspected areas with a very low strength brush, and as long as a face's weight paint value is not 0, anything greater than 0, it will follow the bones. And so a quick test in pose mode once again will reveal everything's all good now. Now that the body is fully rigged, we can attach the clothes to the rig. Let's parent it to the rig with empty groups. Then to the clothes object, let's add a data transfer modifier. Move this above the armature modifier. I drop the body as the source. Open up vertex data dropdown and click vertex groups. Also, this modifier is pretty much broken until you apply it, so go ahead and apply it. And you just gave approximate weight painting to all of your clothes in relation to the body. As you can see, just like with the body, it's not perfect, especially for those complicated outfit pieces, which is why we learned to tweak things in weight paint. So just head on back, you know how to navigate your way through the bones now. And it's just a matter of, does it make sense that this bone controls this area? And if not, go ahead and fix it. There are two hanging objects like this chain and a strap on the back of the jacket, which I will remove from any weight painting, because I will give those parts their own dedicated bones. Also remember, you can tab into edit mode and hide parts of the mesh with H, and that just makes life easier when you're trying to paint objects that are behind other objects. These thigh bones don't need to have control over this chain and the jacket parts, so let's remove those. Let's tab our rig over.
I'm always looking for new ways to expand.
And I'm gonna start adding bones for these dangly clothing parts. So let's add a new bone, position it to this chain. I extruded 3 times, gave a few segments. It's up to you how many segments you want your chains to be. Of course, the more bones, the more detail, as in the more places that it can deform. Now let's take the top bone of this chain and click the nearby thigh bone and parent it with parent, make, keep offset. Let's do the same process for this hanging strap at the back here. Create a bone and drag it over. Scale it and extrude it a few times. Parent it to a nearby bone. And these ones are easy to manually weight paint. And here, to be transparent, I should have used full strength instead of 0.3 strength to paint, but at least later you'll get to see what difference it makes when you fully paint it red and when you do go with a lower strength paint. Same thing with this chain hanging from the thigh. Moving on to rigging the hair. And here I've actually created a new armature from a single bone, as you can see here. Don't worry, we can easily combine armatures together after. Now, similar to the hanging clothing parts we did earlier, we'll just follow the shape of the hair. And the number of bone divisions, again, is up to you. For these hair strands that are going to be mirrored, I'm going to use something called Symmetrize. Just select all the bones to mirror, bring up the menu, Symmetrize. Symmetrize only mirrors from the y-axis, so Y is for you. Y should be facing you. So rotate your mesh and armature accordingly, and if it still doesn't work, try applying the rotation. Once you're finished, you can parent these moving hair parts to the rig. Click the hair object, control click the armature, parent with automatic waste, just like we did for the body. Over in weight paint mode, we can see that everything is sectioned off quite neatly. Let's select both the moving hair object and the hair rig. Press Ctrl A and then do apply all transforms. Now you can select both rig objects and just right click join to join them. Now both of your rigs will be Frankenstein together, and all the meshes that are under those rigs will be now under that one rig, but will remain as separate objects that you can join later. In Waypaint, we can see that everything has retained all of its rigging. Tab the rig over to edit mode and parent the top bones of these hair chains to the head bone, similar to how we parented the chain bones to the body. And now moving on, let's rig a skirt. Let's add a new armature, which we will Frankenstein to the whole thing again later. We'll start with a 4-link chain, which we will duplicate and rotate around the skirt. Now we can duplicate the set of 4 bones and just rotate it around onto the side of the skirt, as well as behind. Of course, we'll have to adjust it to fit the shape of the skirt. And similar to the side hair strands, we can select all of the bones that need to be mirrored, right click, and then press Symmetrize. Adjust the bones on the other side since it's asymmetrical. And since we've done this a couple of times already, hopefully you know the deal. Parent the skirt to the rig with automatic weights. You can also, with all the bones selected, go to weights and click smooth. There is an extra step you can take with the envelopes, but we're not going to go over that today. Auto rigging will do just fine. Apply all transforms for the skirt and the rig. Then you can join it to the hair the same way you did the hair rig. Just join both rigs together. And since all the meshes are rigged now, I can join all the meshes together too. And just like the hair, whenever you Frankenstein the rigs together, you have to make sure they're parented to the main rig. Over in the rig's edit mode, select all the top bones of the skirt chain and parent it to the pelvis. Again, same thing, keep the offset. And that's it for the rigging. Now we have a model with a bunch of different stuff rigged. But how are we going to make use of this? Well, if you're staying within the bounds of Blender, you can use the Wiggle 2 add-on. Link will be in the description. Once enabled, you can access it from this animation tab. There will be a Wiggle 2 drop-down, and you'll just head over into pose mode. And for every top bone of your wiggle chains, check bone head. So of course the hair, the top bones of the skirt chains, and the top bones of the chain. Then for every other bone in the chain, you check off bone tail instead. And from there, those chains will have physics once you keyframe it and you play it into playback. I'm not going to be going over the fine tuning. This is just here for the basic steps. Those things you can probably figure out on your own. Usually if you're working within the bounds of Blender, you're going to have some sort of auto IK going on. I know we didn't set up one of those fancy auto rigs here, but a reminder that there is some native auto IK that we can make use of for this basic rig. Granted, it might not be as flexible, but it will still get the job done for most things. If you're wondering what to do for the blinking and mouse stuff, you can check the video just before this one, which utilizes shape keys but is fully compatible with your rig over here. Now I'll also show you how to export it as a VRM in Unity. And for that, you have to ensure that you just have your rig and your mesh. Just a reminder that you can delete all of your occluded body mesh parts too, since the clothing is already fully rigged on top of it. So here I'm done with everything in Blender. I'm just gonna go File, Export, FBX. Assuming you already did your due diligence by making sure all of the transforms are applied, all the modifiers are applied, everything's joined into one rig and one mesh, then you don't need to do any of these settings. You just have to export the FBX. And I'm just gonna copy paste the VRM install from the other video. You can Google UniVRM, click their GitHub link, scroll down, under Unity package under installation, click latest release, scroll down to under 0.x and download that UniVRM Unity package. You can then drag and drop this into Unity into any 3D scene. Go ahead and press import. And just like that, the VRM0 dropdown will be available now in your dropdown.
Right, sorry, I had to mute because someone was outside. I also was kind of I guess a bit snoozing because I wasn't allowed to talk, and so I was kind of just sitting back watching the video and a little bit kind of falling asleep. I think I did watch this video. I feel like a lot of the things he talked about are kind of the things that I do, a lot of things that like I kind of know about. I don't know when the fuck I watched it, but he's brought up a bunch of stuff that I also do. When it comes to rigging. So yeah, I believe I watched this video at some point, and I don't know when. Right now he's gonna go over, I guess, like setting things up for VRM. VRM? VR chat? I don't remember. I think it is. Springbones VRM.
root, you can go down to even like the third or fourth link of the thing. Obviously, there are some sloppy things in this video and this model, but I'm just trying to get information out quickly and try to condense things into a short.
Okay. That was a good video. I think this is like overall like a really solid render. All right. Sorry, I don't know what's happening. I'm like, I'm like sweating now or something. God damn it. Okay, give me one moment. When I come back, we'll watch this one. We'll watch this one, and then I don't know what we're gonna do afterwards. Like I said, I'm running out of videos. We might play around with rigging with Regulus, maybe. I might also just immediately go to gaming, since maybe call it a bit of a chill day, a bit of an early day, but we'll see. Nothing's set in stone yet. So yeah, sorry, BRB. BRB. let's continue. That's what this says. This way, James, good. Hate reading first like me. Want to speed up your workflow? Just use bone envelopes. And by pinning your script. Step 1, go into the armature setting and go to envelope view. Step 2, adjust the size of the head and tails of the bones by using Alt S. Step 3, increase or decrease the size of the bone envelopes in the item tab. Pro tip, select all the bones and Alt Shift drag them over the envelope value. Select all the script bones and Alt Shift drag them over the envelope value. I need to see how he does that. I don't get that just from like reading. Under the weights tab on the top left, select each bone and hit smooth weights. You can use Shift R to repeat this action for each bone. There you go. Faster way pinning with as little headache as possible. Okay, let's see how it is. Interesting. Not bad. I didn't even know about bone envelopes, if I'm being honest. My mind is blown. That's pretty good. I'm gonna save it just for the sole purpose that it talks about this might go under weight paint stuff actually. Bone envelopes, I've never heard about it. Alright. last but not least, this one.
Being able to attach or snap an axe, a weapon, or any piece of equipment on a character is a pretty common rig feature. Let's see how we can do it. In this video, I will show you how to rig equipment slot so that we can
Is adding equipment to an existing rig, building the snapping mechanisms, adjusting bone position, backpack slot, creating the custom switch, double-handed mechanism.
snap a weapon or any piece of equipment to a given controller and how to switch from one to the other. We will also build a mechanism that will allow us to deal with double-handed weapons and accessories, and will control all of this with a very handy custom property. Let's get started. For this lesson, as usual, I will be using my mannequin I created for the Art of Effective Rigging course. I've also modeled a two-handed axe that will serve as the equipment we want to snap into the ends or the back of our character. The first thing to do before we create a deformation bone for the axe is to reset its position in object mode by selecting it and pressing Alt-A. From there, I will create a new bone and I will scale it a bit so that it's a little smaller. The size of the bone doesn't matter. This is going to be our deformation bone for the axe, so I will call it Death Battle Axe. As I commonly do, I don't want to work directly on the deformation bone, so I will duplicate it, call this new bone Target with the prefix TGT, and in pose mode I will add a copy transform from this target bone onto the deformation bone by pressing Ctrl-Shift-C copy transform. To attach the axe to the rig, I will simply copy the name of the deformation group Death Battle Axe. We can then select the object, go into its vertex option, create a new vertex group and call it Death Battle Axe. Now we can go to the modifier stack and add an armature modifier and source our armature. So from there, the axe won't be moving following the bone, because we haven't assigned any vertices to this vertex group. To fix this, we just need to go into edit mode on the axe, select all the vertices, select the bone group and click Assign with a full influence. Getting back into object mode, we can see the axe snapping onto the controller bone, and now we can move this controller bone to control the axe. So we want to be able to snap the axe on both ends or on the back of the character. But I want to be able to still control the axe separately. So let's first duplicate the target bone, and then in pose mode, constrain the target bone with this newly created bone with a copy transform constraint. This is going to be our axe controller. I will then move this newly created bone into a new layer so that we can isolate it and work with a cleaner workspace. Bone orientation and organization is pretty important whenever you're rigging, so I'd like to go into the armature option and display the names and axes. I've also enabled the in front option so that the bone is always being seen on top of any object. To be able to snap and control the axe at the same time, we need to create an intermediary bone. So I will duplicate my control bone, scale it down and call this new bone mechanism. I can now parent my controller bone to this mechanism bone, so that whenever the mechanism bone will move, the child will move, but we will still be able to move the controller. Let's now create the target slot where the axe is going to snap. I'm duplicating the controller bone and roughly placing it into the right hand. I will properly name it with the .r suffix so that Blender can identify it as a right side. I will hide the controller bone, and then from the end bone I will add a copy transform constraint onto our mechanism bone. So now the axe is snapping to the end based on the influence of this bone. While the axe is snapping it to the end of our character, it's not properly oriented. To easily fix this, I will go into pose mode, select the end mechanism bone, and I will rotate it on its y-axis until the blade of the axe is aligned with the end orientation. You can also refine the position of the axe this way. To make this transformation the default position of the bone, I will simply press Ctrl A and apply pose. And don't forget to check the only selected bone option. Now whenever I will enter edit mode, we can see that the bone keeps this transformation since this is its default transformation. I will now right click in edit mode on the bone and symmetrize it so that it's on the other side. Then in pose mode, I will constrain the mechanism bone of the axe with a new copy transform so that it will snap onto the other side. We can then fix the default position of the left bone the same way we did for the right one. I will then rename the constraints so that it's easier to identify them. From there, we can toggle the constraint to snap the axe on the right hand, left hand, or not to snap it at all. To create the slot on the back of our character, I will simply create a new bone, place it in the back, and snap the axe as we did using a new copy transform constraint. The process is exactly the same as before, as we can refine the position of the bone in pose mode and apply its transformation as its rest pose. So I will speed up a bit the video while I'm doing this. Once we are done, we can display whether your deformation or end controller bone and parent the different slot to a relevant bone. For example, I will parent the backbone onto the chest bone of my character. The little downside about this mechanism is that the axe is not rotating on a proper pivot point when on the back. To fix this, I will duplicate the snap bone and I will make it slide onto its normal y-axis. Once it's aligned with the spine of our character, we're done. We can then parent the snap mechanism bone to this newly created bone. From there, we will be able to manipulate the axe once on the back with a proper pivot point that will look more natural. There is a last improvement that needs to be done, is that with our current mechanism, if we scale the torso of our character, the axe will inherit the scaling because it's directly parented to the spine or chest of our character. We can easily get rid of this problem by creating intermediary bones. In edit mode, I will duplicate the bone and scale it down. Since it's a duplication, it's parented to the target chest. Now I need to create a third bone that is going to be our intermediary bone. Now I want to parent my controller bone to the intermediary bone, and we will isolate the intermediary bone by parenting it to the root of our character, or you can just unparent it completely. I will get rid of those custom shapes that we will be creating a little later in this video, and the yellow color is due to bone group assignment, so we will see that a little later. Now we'll select the smallest bone, then our intermediate bone, and add a copy location and copy rotation to this bone. So now it will follow the location and the rotation of the chest, but not the scaling. To create the switch between the different positions, I will simply duplicate the controller bone and move it on top of the axe. This is going to be our property bone. Then in pose mode, I will go into the bone option and I will create a new custom property. To make it cleaner, I will edit it and give it a relevant name, and I will switch the values to integers. This way the property will act more as a button than a slider. From there we can go back onto our constraint bone, select the constraint, right click on the influence and add a new driver. While I generally use average value as a type, we will use the script expression this time. The idea is to be able to switch position of the axe by entering different value into the driver. So before we take care of the expression, we first need to source our data path for the property bone. So we need to get back onto our property bone, go into its custom property, right click on the value and select copy data path. Then let's get back onto our driver, right click on it and edit it. In the input type, we will select single property and we will source the armature. In the path, I will press Ctrl V to copy the data path we have previously created. From there, we can see that the driver is outputting a value of -2. And this is because we are using the variable -3 and adding 1 from the custom property. If I now go back to my custom property and increase the range of this custom property, increasing its range and value to 4 will make the driver outputting a value of 1 because it's the variable -3, so it's 4 -3. We can now copy the driver and pass it onto the other constraint, but we will need to edit those constraints by increasing the value. So here -2 and on the top one -1. In the end I will modify those values because it doesn't really make sense. With this incremented value created, whenever I will switch the value of the controller, it will snap on the different slot because it will activate different copy transform. To make things cleaner, I will reduce the range of the custom property from 0 to 3. And I will also fix all the drivers so that whenever the value is at 0, the axe won't snap at all. At 1, it will snap on the first controller, 2 on the second, and 3 on the third. The second copy transform override the first, and the third copy transform override the second. From there, I will quickly create a pair of custom shape for both the axe and the property bone. And here we are done with the base mechanism. To be able to use the two-ended mechanism, we need our arm to be set to inverse kinematic. The idea is to create secondary bone that will act a bit as the snapping bone we have created previously. So in edit mode, I will duplicate and scale down both my IK and controllers. I will parent the inverse kinematic controller to those bones. So now moving the inverse kinematic controller is possible, but it's also following those new mechanism bone. Then in pose mode, I will get rid of their custom shape to make it easier to read. Now, as for the backpack, we need to create another bone and scale it down. Note that I'm doing this on both ends, even if I'm not showing it in the video. In pose mode, I will select the latest bone we have created and I will add copy transform constraint on the secondary bone. I will do the same on the right side. Select the smallest bone, then the second bone, add a copy transform. When I move the smallest bone, the end follow because it's the child of the second bone. So if we put a driver onto this copy transform constraint, we can make the end whether following or not.
Alright, sorry for not talking a lot. Not only is there potentially people outside my room and I don't want to talk a lot because of that, but also because for some reason I'm feeling very tired right now. And watching this sort of really long, kind of long, 60 minutes long, complicated. He's duplicated a lot of bones. Video is kind of taking me out. It's kind of putting me to bed, if that makes any sense. We'll finish it though. I think it is cool, the idea of making objects snap to the armature. It's definitely something that I do need to learn. I don't know if this is specifically the way I should learn it. Maybe I should learn a bit of a smaller way instead of diving deep down into an axe. We'll see though.
Not the small bone. Since the end controller are used to manipulate the axe, we can't use the axe to manipulate the end controller. That would create a bug called cycling dependency. In edit mode, I will duplicate the axe controller so that we have a new controller that will be the master. When activated, this controller will manipulate the axe and both inverse kinematic ends. I've removed its custom shape from the time being. I will select it, then select the axe controller and add a copy transform. This copy transform will override the previously created copy transforms. Now in edit mode, I will select the small end mechanism bone and I will parent them to this master controller. Now the ends are following the master controller and so does the axe. So I will rapidly rename the constraint to make them clearer. And from there we will create our new driver. So I will first select the mechanism bone of the axe, add a new driver, switch to average value, and I will source the armature. We need to create the single custom property, so I will select the custom property bone, create a new custom property, and copy the data path. I can now go back onto the driver, right click to edit it and pass the data path into the single property of the variable. Once I've checked it's working, I will just select the driver, right click on it to copy it, and I will paste it on both ends mechanism bone. Now if the master axe property is set to 0, I can switch between the different slots for my axe. If I activate the master axe property and switch to the master axe controller, it both controls the axe and the ends. The only thing we have to do now is to reposition in pose mode the master controller and also both mechanism bone for the ends in a more natural manner. Once you are done with this, I advise you to reset a bit the position of the master controller so that it's aligned with the world space. It will make animation curve easier to read later on for the animator. Then apply the pose as rest pose for the three bones involved, the master and both inverse kinematic mechanism bone. Then I've created a new custom shape for the master controller to make it more readable, and I've moved all the bones on their layers, and I've assigned the equipment to a new bone group so that it's easier to read. This is the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want a breakdown video of the animation, just let me know in the commentary. In the meantime, stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.
Alright, not bad. Like I said, maybe a bit too complicated for me at the moment. There was a lot of duplicating of certain bones, a lot of adding parameters, a lot of adding drivers that I didn't really understand too well, if I'm being honest. To be fair though, I'm kind of checkered out, or kind of checked out, so it was already pretty hard to understand / follow. Alright, so what else do I have? We could watch the Blend Rig one presentation, and then I could look up some Blend Rig tutorials. Let me look something up right now. Hold on. Let's see if there is any before I watch. What? An hour long? No, thank you. Something like that. I don't know. I'm not gonna watch a 1 hour video. By the time I'm done with it, I'll be sleeping. I think that's like my only issue with some add-ons. They don't have a lot of video specifically people using it, which makes it kind of hard to sort of learn it if no one's teaching things. I mean, I don't know how hard it is to use in the first place. Just watch the initial, I guess, presentation video.
Communicate in English easily
Bro.
with effective communication.
Hello and
fuck?
welcome to the BlenderX 6 presentation video. The rigging system used in many of the Blender open movies is back. This is your host, Juan Pablo Bosa. Let's dive right into it. The main achievement with this release is that all the manual work that was previously required has been condensed into automated rigging assistant guides. Each step of the guides has explanatory text and animated images that will show you exactly what to do. The first guide will let you fit the rig onto your character. In each step, only the necessary controllers will be shown. For the facial rig, you will edit a mesh mask that will automatically place the deformation bones. Once you finish placing the main controllers, it's time to bake the rig and move on to the next guide. Now let's get started with the basic deformation. The weights transfer guide will let you copy the weights of pre-weighted meshes onto your character. These meshes were baked with the rig, so they are already fitting the proportions of your character. After tweaking the mesh to get a clean transfer, you transfer the weights and you test deformation right away. The same procedure applies to the hands of the character. The better you align the pre-weighted meshes to your model, the better out-of-the-box deformation you will get. In order to deform the body of the character, BlendRig makes use of Mesh Deform. This modifier is the most advanced deformation technique Blender currently has for organic models. Basically, we will use a low-resolution cage to drive the deformation of the character. The idea is to wrap the cage around your meshes. When you are done, you just press the bind button and test deformation. As you see, without doing any weight painting at all, we are getting really acceptable deformation with these methods. I would say that for a secondary character we could call it a day, but we are making Pixar or Blender Studio quality characters here, so let's move on. The lattices guide will help you place the lattices that will allow the character to have cartoony deformation. It's also important to note that in all of this process, the modifier setup has been automatically added by the guides. Now, if you think that weight painting is a complete waste of time as I do, I've got good news for you. In the weight painting guide, you rarely need to do any weight painting at all. The goal of this guide is to improve the out-of-the-box deformation by preserving the volume of the joints. These steps will take you through each of those joints, and you will be able to preview how deformation looks with predefined poses. In each pose, you can tweak the values of the volume preservation bones to improve the results. In case you still need to tweak the weight painting, you can always press the toggle weight painting button and edit the weights. If you're editing the joints of the body, the painting will occur on the Mesh Deform cage. You can also select the character at any time and edit the Corrective Smooth modifier vertex group to enhance some areas. When you reach the hands, you will be able to check the weights of each joint to clean up the automatic transfer. Most of the time, only minor tweaks will be needed, and the bulk of the deformation enhancement process will rely on adjusting the volume preservation sliders on each pose. When you reach the steps of the face, you will go through predefined poses, checking the weights on the visible bones. For a main character, you should pay special attention to the weights on the eyelids and on the lips. And well, though it's a good thing that the weights look good, you will have the chance to make further tweaks to the deformation with shape keys in a later step. The next guide is the Actions guide. Here you will customize the predefined motions of the rig, such as automatic finger movements, eye blinking, also the behavior of complex mouth movements such as the U vowel. And again, all this is simplified for the user. You just need to move the controllers that you see and try to mimic what the explanatory image of this step is doing. So the good thing about this is that you don't need to add keyframes or select the actions, you just tweak what you see and you move to the next step. Everything else is done in the background. On the other hand, the Advanced Settings Guide allows you to set very specific parameters on the rig. For instance, automatic shoulder movement, foot roll behavior, squash and stretch volume variation, the amount the eyelids follow the movement of the eyes, and lips collision, among other parameters. Finally, we got to the last guide, which is the Shape Keys Guide. Following the same concept as of the weight painting guide, the steps of this guide will take you through each joint of the character, previewing the deformation with predefined poses. The idea is to make this simple. You just tweak what you see. No need to add shape keys or drivers. This is all done automatically for you. All you need to do is to travel through the poses, fine-tuning what you're seeing, and then you move to the next pose. When you are editing the body shape keys, you will be editing the mesh deform cage geometry. On the other hand, when you edit the face or the hands shape keys, you will be editing the mesh of the character directly. Thanks to our recent development by the Blender Studio, now we are also able to use the sculpt tools directly on the character's mesh while editing a shape key. BlendRig also features secondary tools such as a bone shapes editor, vertex groups, and shape keys operators, to name a few. In fact, all the actions that are done automatically by the guides can also be replicated with this set of tools. Well, I really hope that you enjoy working with BlendRig 6. It is our attempt to lead you through the way of creating professionally looking characters without the need of actually knowing anything about rigging in Blender. Your characters will be granted with a super flexible rig and one of the most advanced facial rigs out there. Hopefully, with your support, we will be able to continue developing these tools to make them even more powerful. If you want to see the rig in action, don't forget to check the BlendRig, the Fredegon Skeleton video tutorials. See you next time, rock on and happy blending!
Alright. How? I don't hate it. It's pretty cool the way it kind of like guides you through it, using, I guess, kind of like little tutorials, and they kind of handle a lot of the stuff that you would have to do, I guess, in the background. That does make me sort of question, like, wouldn't it be better just to, like, teach me all that background stuff? Or maybe, I don't know. I'm just being picky at this point. But that was interesting. Maybe I should give it a try at some point. I might download it and give it a try, especially if it is kind of like a step-by-step guide. It wouldn't be a bad idea to sort of run through the steps and see how my rig ends up in the end. Hold on. Oof. Sorry, I am feeling a bit unwell. Not to, again, be a broken record here. Auto Rig versus Rigify. Beat each other up. How to draw boobs. Mapping natural bodies, okay. Is that Judy Hopps? Apparently they're working on a 4.0 version. So I might not be able to use it for 4.0. We'll see. Anyway, sorry. Anyway, we're done, by the way. I'm not gonna look at AutoRig Pro because I have to pay for it, and because of that, I'm going to kind of be like, whatever, maybe another day. I'm good for now. Cool. I've eaten all the videos. I've watched them all. They've all been digested in my mind, in a way. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. I need to probably go back, and I think some of these, yeah, some of these have markings as if I haven't watched them yet, even though I have obviously watched them. Oh yeah, I'll keep that like that. Oh yeah, I already had it saved, but I'm gonna delete it because, like I said, it's very simple. Hey, if it clips in the regular rest position, fix it. If it clips when it's moving, fix the white paints. So I don't really think it's the greatest video right now for me. I think I'm a bit more advanced when it comes to rigging and white painting. Alright. So, what are we gonna do? I'm not exactly sure, if I'm being honest. I'm a bit out of energy when it comes to working on stuff. I don't really want to, I guess, because I was thinking like maybe I could look at some motion studio stuff, maybe, or I could do some stuff in Blender with the model Regulus. But I'm not really, I guess, sort of in the mood. I don't have the sort of I don't know how to explain it. I don't think mood is the right word. The motivation, I guess, there it is. Sort of work on this kind of stuff right now, which is a bit of a shame. I will admit that it sucks. Kind of being a bit sick and not really having the motivation to sort of work on stuff. At the same time, though, I don't really want to play a game because I feel like it's a bit early to play a game. Then again, though, I have nothing else to do. I'm a bit stuck in that regard. You know what? Yeah, let's go play a game. I was like, what should I do? What should I do? Let's. I'm just gonna casually hop onto Honkai, and depending on how I feel afterwards will depend on what I do next. I might actually, I don't know, I might end up feeling better afterwards, and I might go back to Blender. I might do some stuff, but at the moment, yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm sorry. I can't believe it. But like I said, PAL Worlds, I might get it, might not. It kind of depends on how I feel at the end of the day today, on the game that is, not not on like if I'm feeling like well. And if I do, we'll probably play it tomorrow on stream. But yeah. I could also spend, especially after Honkai, after I do my daily stuff, I could spend, like I did yesterday, some time brainstorming some more stuff. But instead of yesterday where I kind of just talked and didn't really do much, I could probably like take down some notes and maybe draw out some sort of I guess sort of design or a kind of, I guess, like sort of map out a bit of a direction for me to go. So I have something, I guess, to sort of hold on to and to guide me. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna get a water. Alright, here we are. We're back in. We're doing the same thing we were doing yesterday. Grinding out talents. Or not talents, sorry, traces for Ron May. I'll probably do that today some more until I get her fully maxed out on her traces, because that's what I like to do. Even if some people might be like, oh, you don't have to max out her like basic attack because she won't be basic attacking or something like that. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I still like to max out everything. That's just the way I do things. Oh wait, I could just go. I'm literally right here. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. After I'm done with my dailies and wasting up all my stamina, or even while I'm doing my dailies and wasting all my stamina, I could take out a notepad and start sort of brainstorming the steps I should take to try to figure out what I want to do in general. There's a lot of avenues I can cover, like after the rigging strains, what am I gonna do after that? Like I said before that I want to work on a couple characters before I move on to some other I guess a deep dive, whichever that one was gonna be. The question is like, what character should I make? Should I make one of the characters that I do make be like one that I thought of? it's options. There's always like a bit of an issue. I've talked about this before. I haven't talked about it in a while, but I have talked about this before, how it's a little, I guess, embarrassing to talk about stuff that you want to do. Sometimes I feel like the reason why I'm so bad at making decisions for what characters I want to make in Blender is because I feel like it says something about me, the character I want to make. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I want to make this character, and it's like, oh, why do you want to make that character? In a weird way. Um, Even though that's not obviously the case, but that's just the way I think of things. Um, which might be the wrong way of thinking of things, most likely, but it is the way I think of things. Um, Same thing goes with like making original characters. Especially since I can't draw, I kind of have to like explain it and sort of be like, hey guys, hang in there. Like, I have an idea, but I'm not exactly sure how it's gonna plan out. I probably have to like find a bunch of references um, to help me out. Otherwise, it's gonna be hard to do it, I think. I think I saw a video a long time ago that talked about how, I think it was, sometimes I think did I mention this yesterday? Sometimes I watch, or I used to watch, the occasional like art video because it kind of tied into what I was doing. Because you know, you could get some tips from like 2D artists, especially when it comes to like texture painting. And one of the videos that I saw, I think, oh, you know what it was? It was when I was talking about finding my own style when it comes to 3D modeling, which I think is a bit difficult. Um, but yeah, the video highlighted how it's wait 1 second. Sorry, there's people outside, so it's hard to talk about stuff. What was I even talking about? Um, I don't know, but all in all, it's embarrassing, at least to me, to talk about or bring up things that I guess I'm working on / I made. It's just the way I operate, which is why usually I let other people suggest / choose which models I should make for me. I think the last time I picked a model, I think I used the wheel to do it, because it takes away from me having to be like, I want to make this model, period. And like having, I don't know, I probably don't have to explain why I'm making a model. But in my mind, I think I feel like I need to explain everything I do, which isn't obviously the case all the time. Anyway, so yeah, making notes about that kind of stuff. What the hell? That was weird. I don't know why that took so long. But that would be like the first thing I think I should write down about what I'm doing next after the rigging stuff is done. Apart from that, though, we could talk more about the things that I talked about yesterday. I haven't been able to really give it much thought. I kind of stopped thinking about this stream as soon as I'm done with this stream. So a lot of those questions kind of got unanswered. They probably will go unanswered for a while, because I assume it's hard to sort of think of something like how to make the stream interesting. It's not as easy as just like add some keys to jingle over people's heads, stuff like that. I can't do that. I mean, I can, but like, I don't think someone's gonna watch just because there's keys going up and down on the screen. But yeah. I need to take a relook at the list of characters that I said I wanted to make. I think I saved some in some other files too. I'm very messy with the kind of my sort of, I guess, organization when it comes to the files, which is why I usually like to keep things in a Google Doc, because most of the time then it won't be that messy. But I have been writing notes inside of my Blender of documents, which means that they're getting forgotten as I like move on to other projects. I'm pretty sure I know my Regulus one has a bunch of notes. Do I have characters that I want to make on here? Let's see, so I know the character, training arc, texture painting, shader editor, rigging, hair, topology, geonodes, animation. Those are pretty much the same, obviously without rigging, since I am learning that right now. Texture painting is just coloring, learning about coloring, which I think involves a lot more 2D art skills than 3D art stuff. Shader editor, I feel like kind of like the same with GeoNodes, how that has its own little like node editor kind of system. The shader editor, I feel like I need to look back at. One thing that I realized when I was talking about my old models was I think I need to take a look back at the first model that I made, which was the one I made following a tutorial. The Made in the Abyss character. Because that shader editor was using a bunch of tricks that I don't even use yet, not right now. Like, a lot of the tricks that I used in that shader editor kind of got lost, just because I haven't really used them or had like an excuse to use them. Like they had one where I could manually add shadows to certain parts of the body, and then when you move the light, the the places that I kind of marked off as like permanent shadows stay the same color as like I guess the shadow color. That's something I need to look back at and how I did that. I did something with the highlights as well, adding highlights that I think they disappear once like a shadow hits them. I need to look at how I did that as well. I think I also did I added an outline brush that is the same color as, I guess if you use reverse Hall method, it's the same color as the reverse Hall method color. So it allows me to sort of paint in outlines that they don't look like exactly the same as the outlines from the reverse Hall method, but it does sort of allow me to give a bit more of a outlined look, I guess. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at my Blender file with Regulus, so I didn't realize it ended. Alright, fairly simple. I don't know what the fuck I pressed, but apparently I got sent to the stat screen. I don't want that one either. There's two things I want to do today. The first one obviously is right now doing the traces, but I think I also want to synthesize some ropes for Ron May. Try to see if I could get a better break effect. I just need like 12% more, and the rope is like my worst one. So I might make like 5 ropes right now. Yeah, we'll do 5, and if I don't get an energy rope with break effect, I'll force one with break effect. Or not break effect, sorry, energy recharge rate. Let's see. Okay, attack, shit, 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 shit. Okay. Immediately I just got shit. Okay, well, energy recharge rate. Let's hope this one isn't as ass. It's not the best. If I could roll into a break effect, then it might... Oh, I didn't actually, like, lock it, so I don't actually... I'm gonna have to, like, go back in. That's fine, though. Alright, I'm deleting the ones that didn't have energy recharge. Oh, that's the one. Okay. Honestly, I might do it for all of these. I am lacking in these books. I'm running out because I've been making so many. Probably isn't the best to do this because I could probably reuse some of these ropes for a character. That maybe does use like defense or attack or something like that with this rope. But I don't really care. I could always just regrind. So it's like whatever. Alright, let's go back into the character. Scroll down to Ron May. Color up a little bit. I can't get some of her traces because I need to be level 80, which sucks. Okay. We're done with her supports, or with, sorry, her skill. Now working on her talent, which is also going to take a while. 30 more stages, 2 more stages of the basic attack, and now we're done. Luckily, oh, shit. I forgot to do this. Let's do this first, and then we'll see what we can do. I might do the trace stuff again, since I do have some recharges that I could do. But first, let's see if this break effect. It is not. Okay, this shit is trash. Okay, that kind of sucks. I don't want to keep on using my whatever they're called, like resins or whatever. Whatever the thing is called that forces it to be. I'm pretty close to getting. Yeah, I just need a better recharge rope, which sucks. It's like literally one piece, lol, one piece. That I need. So I don't think it's like a good idea for me to like grind out this what day is it today? Sorry. Excited, okay. I don't think it's a good idea to grind out this ornament set if I only need like one part of the ornament. I should grind out for another character. I don't know who to grind out next. If I cared enough about this game, I'd make like a list or spreadsheet detailing like which characters need improvement and which characters don't, but I'm kind of don't want to do that. I'm not that invested. Dr. Ratio is a high contender of a character that I want to build up more. This girl is another high contender. QQ, I think needs one more Eidolon to be decent enough. Or I guess she needs two more. But she's also high contender. My Lynx needs relics. My Topaz needs relics. My Welt needs relics. My Silverwolf needs relics. I think my Japard's fine. Actually, my Japard needs some relics. I think she's fine. My Kafka isn't perfect. I think she needs some relics. Yeah, you could see that. These definitely need some relics. And then I talked about how, or if I want to build Baiju maybe, because she's another healer, and I don't have a lot of healers. Well, there's only like 3 healers in the game, or actually 4, I think, with a Huku. Oh, and then Locha, 5. Okay, there's a few healers, but I only have 3. And then I talked about yesterday building some support characters, since I'm pretty sloppy when it comes to building support characters, just because I'm kind of like a bit little kid Pokemon brained in the fact that I don't see the value of using Growl to lower their attack when I could just hit them with a 130 power move, you know what I mean? I do definitely have that issue. Anyway, hold on. I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the bathroom. And when I come back, I might actually spend some stamina to either do the Simulated Universe or the Echoes of War, because I haven't done that yet. I probably will do that. I'll also pull out a yeah, I'll pull up a notepad when I come back as well and sort of start jotting down my ideas for things that we're gonna do slash steps that I should take to, I guess, moving forward. So yeah, I'll be right back. 1 second. Be right back. Alright, let's go. We're gonna do the bug again, since the majority of the characters I want to build require the bugs item, so might as well go heavy on the bug for now, until I realize that I don't need any more, in which case I'll probably switch over to some other boss. I'm gonna open up a text document, call it, moving forward. I have a bunch of text document on my shit that I kind of need to organize, I think, a bit better. That's for sure. Alright, hopefully they could do it by themselves. While they do that, I'll, I don't know if I should put this up on screen. I don't think I'm going to. At least not right now. Might put it up later, but for now, okay. These are my thoughts, okay? Number 1. What? I spelled what wrong. Immediately. Terrible start. What am I doing after the rigging deep dive, which should be like maybe a day or 2 days or 3 days more. It kind of depends on what I can do and if I could find any more videos to watch, stuff like that. Although if the next 3 days I start to stream feeling this bad, it might take longer. That'd be funny though. I'll try not to let it take that long. Okay, so what am I doing after the rigging deep dive? Okay, I already said I am working on 2 complete models, VTubing, working VTubing models, comma, maybe VR chat. Like I said in the beginning of the stream, you kind of have to commit to making the model work in VR chat by having less than 70k trigs, which does sort of reduce the amount of things you can have. It is a good practice though, because it would kind of force me to, I said this already in the morning, I'm repeating myself, utilize normal maps a lot more, which a lot of the time I tend to ignore sometimes. Like, I feel like if I don't need it, I won't use it kind of thing. But that sometimes isn't the best sort of mindset. Okay, so there we go. I'm working on 2 complete models, working VTubing models, maybe VR chat. Okay? That is my goal. Now the outliers come. Or I guess sort of like the differentiating thoughts. Like, what will these models be? You know? Who am I gonna model? I should check my list of characters I wanted to make, maybe update it and see. That's a good start. Check my list, update it. There's probably some characters there that I don't want to do anymore. There might be some characters there that aren't on the list that I do want to do now. Yeah, just look at that. Maybe do an OC. Will require me to talk about my ideas, which is meh. Nice. And will require a lot of references. Because a lot of my ideas are not very specific. They're kind of like, ooh, wouldn't it be cool if like the character had like these sort of features, slash like idea. My ideas for the characters that I think of are never like, they should have a jacket that is red on the top and green on the bottom, and it should also have like 50 pockets. I don't, when I think of characters, I don't think of like that sort of detailed, which is something that I would have to do if I want to make a sort of character that I've had in mind. They're more very like broad. Oh, like wouldn't it be cool if this character was like had like a jacket like that? Like, wouldn't it be cool if this character like, I don't know. I just like I get inspired a lot by the things I see. I see things and I'm like, oh, isn't that cool? Wouldn't it be cool if I made a character like that? Or I see like hairstyles, and I'm like, oh, I don't. It'd be cool to sort of learn how to make a character with this sort of hairstyle. Because there are easier hairstyles than others, you know? Making like a flat blonde, not flat blonde, flat, hair. I said, oh, flat long is what I wanted to say. Hair, you know, like flat bangs, squared out. It goes down the back. It's squared out in the back as well. That's very simple. But it would be nice to sort of make something a bit more complex, I guess. But yeah, sorry, let's continue writing. So yeah, those are the two questions. Or I guess not. I guess it's one question. What will the models be? I need to look at my list of characters that I want to make, update it, maybe put it in a wheel, and do a roll of it on stream to decide. That only covers one character though. I could do that again for the second character, but I could also do an OC, which I've said this already, but it is a resolution of mine. And the whole reason why I started learning Blender was to sort of make my own characters slash stories slash things, animations, stuff like that. I guess that's what everyone wants to do. They want to make their own thing. But you know, I don't really bring it up or talk about it, I don't think. Or at least I have been recently due to me having to figure out what I want to do. Alright, so that takes care of the first question, I guess. Or, yeah, one of like the major questions about what's happening next, specifically with what I'm doing on stream. So that's all set. Number 2. Interactivity added to strings. Okay. The obvious one that I've been talking a lot about recently is Motion Studio. I need to look at their tutorials, download the SDK and try to make something. Wait, hold on. I need to heal up. She is all. Huh. Whatever. Okay. Hmm. There's an issue with this one. And the issue that I see is the theme. I talked about this already. I feel like a lot of the stuff I'm talking about recently is a bunch of stuff that I keep on mentioning, but the reason why that happens is because it's relevant to me right now. So I'm gonna keep on mentioning it. So sorry in advance. I'm gonna stop saying I already mentioned this. I'm just gonna start saying shit. If I were to make something, if I want to be more specific on the something, try to make something, the obvious thing would be like, make a room for the stream. Make an interactable game for the stream. Stuff like that. Now, where the issue comes in is, with this sort of theme, I'm not a VTuber. However, I think the idea of having, sort of having a VTuber model and my stream follow a theme, would help me a lot with sort of, you know, it's good to follow a theme. I think it kind of like gives you guardrails on like what you can do, with like the environment that you make and like the emotes that you make. And for instance, right now, the motion studio stuff, like I assume the room would be based off of like what my future VTuber model is going to be, which is what I'm sort of like thinking about right now. And I already went over that. How I guess that's okay. Let's talk about that. Let's make that number 2, since I think it's more prescient. This is gonna be called VTubing avatar and stream theme. Okay. So I talked about this already. Sorry, I had to say it. I'm kind of leaning, mostly because it's more, I guess, like close to me, or more, it's something that I already done. Where, oh shit, Winifred's dead. I'm leaning towards my theme being around, I guess, sort of like cryptids slash cryptozoology for some reason, because that's kind of what I was focused on when I was making games, or when I was trying to make games. I talked about this already, but the idea of having my avatar be like a sort of shape-shifting creature that allows me to sort of swap between the models I have made wouldn't be a bad idea. But then the issue comes with like, I don't want to make it ugly, because I think that's bad, and I don't want to make it cute, because I think that's bad. So how do I make something that looks cool, that doesn't look complicated? I feel like a lot of the times they could end up looking very complicated. Maybe. I don't want it to look complicated. I don't want it to look scary or gross or weird. I don't want it to be cute and like, I guess, like dumb looking. So I have to be very particular with what exactly I make it. I'm probably like draw inspiration from a bunch of other cryptids, but that's sort of like my idea. Hold on, let me write that down. Mm. So yeah. Um, I don't really know any other themes that I have in mind. I could probably think of some, but that one is probably like the most, I guess like possible, just because that's the one that I'm most used to. Um, which is why it comes to mind really quickly. Um, if I were to do something like that, then that would mean that the setting, at least in my mind, I thought about this a little bit. The sort of setting that I built, not only in Motion Studio, but in other, I guess, mediums, would be kind of like a log cabin, in the middle of the woods. I feel like that's very fitting for that kind of sort of um idea slash creature, you know. It is a possibility. It's hard to think of themes. Um, there doesn't have to be like an explanation as to why. Um, I could switch to like different models or something like that. That's just something that I thought of. It would be like a really cool incorporation. I did mention yesterday an idea that was given to me by someone. I forgot his name. Sorry. Um, putting my models up kind of like action figures in a room, or what I thought of yesterday, kind of being like hanging in a closet somewhere, and I can kind of like pull them out of the closet and put them on, kind of like clothing. Um, it's interesting. I don't know. I think it is important to make a character that is my own. In case I want to, like I said, make emotes in the future. Um, it's definitely not a good idea to sort of use a character that doesn't belong to me as a sort of my face when it comes to this sort of streaming landscape. But yeah, I need to figure that out. Oh wait, hold on, let me write that down. Find other themes that I can use. I guess it also kind of depends on like what I want to make in terms of like my VTubing model. That could very largely dictate the sort of theme that I go with. I was never really good at that. Figuring things out for me. A character that sort of like is me. I'm not very good at that kind of stuff. Which is why leaning towards this sort of cryptid idea. I guess that's why people like VTubers or like being VTubers. I assume they like it. Because you could be something that you're not. And it's really hard for me to sort of think, if I do make a character that's supposed to like be me, it's hard for me to think of like a way to sort of make myself. I also think that's very boring. It's like making myself. Because, you know, I'm just a person. I'm just a regular person. So it's kind of like, oh, welcome to the regular person VTuber. Like, I think like the goblin is good because it's like, it catches your eyes. It's small. It's cute. And I know I said I was like, oh, I don't want my, if I were to go the cryptid route, I don't want it to be cute or something like that. But you know, I know VTuber people a lot of times make their model into like a chibi version, like a really small, more like cutesy version, which could also be a possibility, a substitute. I do have the goblin, which I guess sort of, I did talk about this before, how I could make the goblin kind of like the face of chat. A lot of channels, yeah, that use like TTS will have like a small little creature to sort of talk as if they are the TTS. And if I were to go that route with the goblin and make him that, then it makes sense if like my character was sort of fantasy based, because you know, goblins, fantasy. It makes sense in my head at least. That's a good theme, I think. Let me write that down. I might have to do some more thinking on that, but that's definitely a theme. But yeah. So those are, I guess, so far those three. So there's models that I'm making after the rigging deep dive. What's my avatar / stream theme? Interactivity. Let's expand that one a bit more. I think that's like the biggest one out of all of them. So the first part was Motion Studio. The second part is learning the Twitch API and how to connect it to OBS, maybe. This kind of falls under what I talked about yesterday with the whole like figuring out like how do games use Twitch integration. Like, should I lean more towards like using Unity as a way to sort of add interactivity by sort of kind of like making a game, but not really? That's definitely something I have to learn. And then I guess is the more like philosophical question of like what exactly do I want to do with this? Like, I don't want it to distract from my blending, but at the same time, I want to entertain those who don't really care about learning / are doing Blender. I think it'd be fine if I had like, I guess like different groups of people watching me, where like one group watches me for the Blender stuff, and the other group watches me for like when I game or when I work on other stuff on stream. But if I'm able to sort of captivate like groups that don't really like align with each other, like getting people who mostly watch gaming stuff to watch my Blender streams, and even vice versa, getting people who watch Blender streams watch my gaming stuff, using like some interactivity or a way to sort of entertain you guys. Maybe not for the gaming stuff, because usually you would think like the gaming and me talking about the game and me talking about, or me playing the game would be entertaining enough, but even then, still, it would work there too. But yeah, I have to think of something. I don't want to take up all the screen. So if I were to implement something, it'd probably be like towards the bottom of the screen, maybe in a corner of the screen. And then obviously the idea is like, well, what do I do there? I did talk about yesterday stream avatars, which uses like these little sprites that like sort of act as the chatters. And there's also like little games already like pre-installed into the sort of thingy, kind of like it's kind of like a game, I guess. I was thinking of like looking into how they made that, seeing if I could make something similar. For a couple reasons, you know. There's obviously the whole I don't want to spend $15 on it. $15 isn't that much, but I think it'd be nice if I learned how to do it myself. Not only for that, but like for a bunch of other things, you know. Learning how Twitch interactivity works can be used not only for making like basically a stream elements, well, not stream elements, sorry, stream avatar clone, but for like any other things I want to do. Like in the future, I have some projects that I want to think about. So yeah. Adding interactivity, I think, is fun. I guess I should also write that down. Hold on. Look at Twitch extensions and see if there are any that can be used to add better watcher interactions. That's something that I talked about yesterday. Twitch does have some extensions. Some of them are kind of like very niche. Some of them are not exactly what I want. That I can look at. Or I should look at them to see if any of them actually provide some interactivity that I can sort of build off of and kind of use. But yeah. There's very limited things you can do though, obviously. Like, especially right now. The only way I have for chat to interact with me is by using commands like exclamation mark something, you know. Obviously in the future, hopefully, I will have redeems, which kind of will act a bit kind of like commands, kind of like a substitute. They're going to be more personalized, I think, because they're tied to you and like your channel points. It's interesting. I don't know. I think figuring out a theme early on, like this early on, before I have like access to any sort of ways of like making stuff like emotes and stuff like that, is that it would allow me to sort of be ready for when I do get that kind of stuff. To just like, oh, I know exactly what I want to make. I know exactly like my theme, so I know exactly like which emotes are gonna be in here. I know exactly like which redeems we're gonna immediately look to setting up, stuff like that. I feel like with a lot of the interactivity stuff, I definitely need to pick up backup programming, learning Unity, learning Oh, I think I have to like newly learn APIs. That's one thing that I didn't really go over back when I did learn about programming. Um, which is why it's like very daunting to me, the whole Twitch API, how to use it. I don't know how to sort of connect it to my code and sort of take what the API gives me and sort of save it and stuff like that. But that's definitely something I have to figure out. I'll have to see. I will have to freshen myself up on using Unity, using Virtual, what was it called again? Not Virtual Studio. I don't know why I thought of Virtual Studio. What was it called again? Visual Studio, there we go. Setting things up. I also need to brainstorm some ideas. I think like before I started streaming and when I was like beginning streaming, because I felt like I had more time, I would just come up with like stream ideas and I would like write them down. And recently I haven't actually been thinking of a lot of stream ideas because I do want to do some like fun stuff. Like I know originally I do Blender stuff, but I also want to do fun stuff with Blender if I can. And I don't really think about that kind of stuff anymore for some reason. So I definitely should spend more time thinking. It all just requires a lot of setup. And the issue that I'm definitely having right now, this month, is the breaks that I'm taking, the days that I don't stream are either spent me like playing games with friends, and so I don't really work on anything off stream, or me recovering from being sick. Which again, when I'm sick, I don't really feel very motivated on doing a lot of work, and so that also hinders my off-stream sort of contributions. Oh, let me write that down as well. Not that, but like I forgot to write down Valentine Day. Prepare costumes for the goblin and other things. I don't know what else to make for Valentine's Day. A few options that I sort of thought about were kind of like with the firework thing, making like hearts pop out on the screen. Like an effect. I don't know if that's that cool though. I feel like I need to think of something bigger. Or something like more interesting than just like, oh hey, look at this overlay of hearts. I feel like that's a bit too boring. Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of things I need to think about. I'm not exactly sure. Hey, Lucy. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. I'm just sorry, I'm just sort of like brainstorming ideas about stuff going forward. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing great. Nothing really much going up on screen though, which is my bad. What am I doing? I don't know. I'm alright. I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you? But yeah, anyway, like I was saying, I need to think of some other ideas, something way bigger. I don't really know how I'm gonna plan it out. I'm gonna have to sort of I need to think of an idea and then think about how I'm gonna plan it out afterwards, obviously. That's good. Good, good, good. Alright. What should I be doing now? Hmm. Do I have anything else to brainstorm? I think that's it. If I think of anything else, I'll add it to the sort of list of things I have to look at. Other than that, though, I think that's it. Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you. He's very chill. Very chill. You should have seen him around Christmas. I made a bunch of costumes for him. For the Christmas season. Yeah. I made him myself. I mainly do Blender stuff. Stuff in Blender. Um, I'm just playing a game right now. So you don't see that. But yeah, I make my own things. I rambled so long that I now have enough stamina to do some stuff here. But yeah, I like doing Blender stuff. I make models. Um, and stuff like that. Ow. Still very new to it. I say new, I'm like 6 months into it or something, but you know, you learn. You live and you learn. Let's see. What is this? Inventory. See, actually, I'm a modeler or a rigger, and I do models and stuff as streamers and well. Oh yeah? Do you have like a way for me to like, I guess, see your work? I'm always interested to see what people have done. Um, Always exciting to see the kind of work people do, the way people use I mean like whatever software they use, the things they make. I usually post most of my stuff on Twitter. Um, Wait, hold on. Okay, never mind. Why? Do you want to like ask a question or something? I guess I can. Hold on. Let me do this first. I don't really have like a sort of public Twitter, um, or like a sort of like channel or something. Oh no, no, not a channel. What is it? Like a server? I'm still far too small to sort of have that kind of stuff. Oh, I need 5, not 3. Okay, never mind. All right. Oh, my Discord should be the same name as my Twitch account. You don't need a code anymore. So you should be fine with just looking it up as is. What the hell is this? 1 minute ago. Wait, hold on. Oh wow. Portfolio. I feel like I should make something like this. All right, let me check it out. Oh, I see, yeah. All right. That's pretty cool. I don't really know too much about, I guess, sort of like um the 2D space of VTubing modeling and rigging and stuff like that. It's something that I haven't really looked into too much, if I'm being quite honest. I know it could get quite complicated. I've definitely seen some like some people post their what's it called? Their sort of, I guess, like work. There's a lot of moving parts to a lot of the rigging that I've seen being done. But yeah, overall pretty cool. Yeah, no problem. It's always nice to see. Very, very nice. Yeah, I mostly do like 2D, not, well, 2D, what? I do 3D stuff. Um, so I know it's very different. Still very cool. And updates your model so I can create any version of your model. No, I'm good. Yeah, I guess my model is pretty simple. It is basically just like an animation of it closing and opening its eyes, but yeah, I'm good. If I wanted to make it like a VTubing kind of thing, then I could easily set that up myself. You don't have to worry about that. I guess that's what I was doing before you came in. I was talking about what I'm gonna be doing in the future in terms of creating a model for myself. One that isn't just like an animation of really shitty blinking. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, that's enough for today. I played a little game. I kind of brainstormed sort of I guess like the future slash what I'm going to be doing in the future. Things that I need to think about more. But that is all for today. Hopefully, tomorrow I will feel a lot better and we could do a bit more rigging stuff. And yeah. Um yeah, that's about it. Oh, I might get Pal World tomorrow and we'll probably play it tomorrow. I'm still sort of deciding. I'm on the fence whether or not to get it. And I guess you'll find that out tomorrow. Because it is, what is it? It's like $26. It's very positive. It's very big right now, so which is the reason why I'm kind of like, ooh, I might want to play this because people are really into it right now. There's a bit of hype to it. Um, and also the concept of it has appealed to me. Um, I'm just hoping to see what they do with it, you know. Uh, but yeah, like I said, by tomorrow, you'll know whether or not I got it or not. Um, so yeah, thank you for coming along. Thank you for watching. Uh, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye bye.